because Rumble so good at pushing the wave, getting that AoE burn down.
Lots of AP damage between the two solo laners here of CLG. Plenty of mid-game team fighting power as well, especially around objectives. If you're the first team there, setting up shop there with the Caitlyn traps, being able to lay down the red carpet for them as soon as Team Liquid shows up there with the Rumble Equalizer, a lot of team fight potential here for these guys. But man, when you look at TL, especially in those solo lanes with Graves as your jungler, there is so much burst potential. There is such a high damage profile on these champions.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how proactive Broxah is on Graves, because when I get into a game and as a jungler you're playing Graves and you have Renekton and LeBlanc as your laners, two laners that are notorious for being able to help push, help go for invades with you, I like to see really aggressive play. Graves is great at farming, but a big part of Graves' play for the best players is their invade farming, right? They're not just farming their own camps on spawn. If you have big farm numbers, and a lot of them are your opponent's camps because you're invading, you're pushing them out, hurting your opponent junglers' farm numbers and keeping them down on experience in CS, that's where you're getting the full value out of this champion because of the range advantage and the safety with your knockback. You don't, take barely any damage from doing camps and harassing people.
Yep, definitely want to see the solo laners backing him up as he goes for these plays and tries to keep his opponent starved out from gold and experience a little bit better here early on in this game as we make our way in. And Team Liquid looks to just keep on adding wins to that record. We mentioned their remaining opponents, CLG, Dignitas, Immortals, and TSM. 3 of those, based on the team's performances so far, you would expect to be some solid wins here for TL. CLG currently at 5-9, trying to stay out of those last 2 spots, trying to avoid a potential missing of playoffs entirely. One thing I do want to go ahead and take note of here at the very beginning, it is a flash for Broxah. We have been seeing some Graves run Ignite recently to really just be super extra aggro, but this time around Broxah will not be doing that.
Okay, speaking of which, we got a little sighting on the bottom side. Doesn't look like we have any of that super aggro play, though. Graves definitely does not need a pull. As we said, obviously with the knockback, he can jungle to his heart's content without ever having to worry about HP. Look at the kiting flowers. Oh, my goodness.
So wonderfully done. Look at this beautiful kiting
around
back over the wall to get himself in a perfect position. Also want to note the cleanse here on CoreJJ's Tahm Kench. It is Summoner Spellbook for both of the supports, so they will both be able to switch things up over the course of the game, but CoreJJ does want that reliable CC break both for the lane and as the game goes on, addressing what Kobe brought up earlier in Champ Select about, yeah, he can save everybody else, but who's going to save him? Well, the answer is still him.
Cleanse will save him.
Spell. Yeah. Yes, the cleanse is
touche,
get out of jail free card there. Pobelter with a nice early trade there. On to Jensen. Pop into LeBlanc passive. Could make it easier for a gank to happen if Sett wants to show up on that one, but it's still very difficult to gank LeBlanc as a champion with no gap closers yourself.
Yeah, you definitely got to pay attention to the distortion cooldown. The passive, though, to me, as a jungler, is one of the most annoying things about this champion.
Oh, yeah, it's obnoxious.
Yeah, trying to go ganker. So definitely blowing that is big. I will say, too, a little bit more on the Syndra-LeBlanc matchup. This got better for LeBlanc than it previously used to be. As you can see, Pobelter will still try and fight him in the minion wave, try and get your ranged autos from your minions to help you out in those trades too, and kind of fight your way out. That's why he's also gone Ignite Electrocute. But there were fairly recent nerfs to Syndra that lowered the cooldown on your Scatter the Weak, which previously you always try and use to interrupt the distortion of LeBlanc when she comes in for a trade. If you can Scatter the Weak her distortion, then if it does not complete, that doesn't do the damage. So it's a big part of the combo. She still has better gank setup because obviously it's easy to get into range and try and lane your chain. But Syndra can give just as good as she gets in that fight. It just got a little worse with the longer cooldown.
Junglers splitting the map here, heading towards each other's Krugs as Impact gets a good trade onto Ruin, but we know that he'll have to be cautious about pursuing those trades any further, otherwise he may have to deal with a jungler interference. As bottom side, you can see Stixxay and Smoothie grabbing just a very minor amount of damage onto Broxah as he still completes these steals, takes away all the Krugs there, and won't have any problems doing so. CoreJJ and Tactical maintaining turret pressure, and we're just sort of seeing the jungler's presence dictating the state of the lanes here, making sure that TL gets to push up bottom, and seeing CLG being able to push up in that top side. Gank showing up from Wiggily, but Jensen sidestepping away from the scatter of the weak, uses the distortion to go in, so now he has to run all the way to the safety of his own jungler. Brox is right there, Wiggily with the flash, going for the face breaker, and that's first blood for CLG. Pobelter making that one happen as Broxah looks for the follow-up here, but a nice smite coming out from Wiggily to keep himself alive. Broxah grabs one. Can Broxah grab two? The flash over the wall from Pobelter says no, but CoreJJ, is he hungry? No, he's not hungry.
Yeah, his appetite has been sated, and Broxah heard y'all were talking. He's here for the counter. Let's go over this step by step because as Wiggily with the Nimbus Cloak knows that he can catch up to Jensen, so that's why Pobelter does the early ignite to keep vision. And then Wiggily just flashes right over with your Nimbus Cloak speed, you can guarantee catch up. But then Broxah with red buff can 2v1 the aftermath. Pobelter actually was blocking some of the Graves autos during the time where Wiggily still had his decaying shield from his Haymaker, and then once the Haymaker shield dropped off, he just flashed in front so that he could still get his autos off. Ruin with the solo jab.
That is a tilter. I'm going to call that a 540-degree tilter because you got to make at least one full rotation for that amount of tilt, and then you still got to end up upside down. That is the worst feeling in League of Legends, to end up just that far off. He levels up, and he heals from the Triumph. A tragedy for Ruin in the top lane.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
He's on the floor now. He tilted all the way out of the chair.
No.
Oh, Broxah's going to get the dragon in the aftermath. They just saw the Scryer's Bloom plant get popped on the top side. They know Wiggly's up on top side. Broxah's going to get that Infernal, and Team Liquid with a substantial lead now. Oh my goodness. I actually want a replay of it. I want to count the HP because you can
yeah,
see
I want
the
to see the
tick duration.
exact number because
see
it's
the,
not very high.
The moment that each tick of damage from Flamethrower goes off, let's take a look. So fully charged up Rage Bard here for impact at the beginning, so it's actually a pretty decent chance for him to fight his way out. He's the one who starts it out actually and used all his rage there. Stacks up a decent amount of Conqueror. Wiggily waiting around. That's why he goes for this, but then the comment, the Q flashes in.
Oh my goodness!
That was the HP.
That was sub 20 HP.
Somebody
that had to have been sub 20 HP. If any of our producers or observers can tell us the exact number, my guess is I know it has to be under 20.
We need detective work. I'm saying that's single digits for sure. That's single digits. Oh my god.
That was insanely close. That is just the worst.
Good mental,
I
good
buddy,
games, Flowers. You gotta keep a strong mental, okay?
How do you have a strong mental after that? Those are the kinds of things that I'm sitting there listening to sad boy music. The whole screen's black and white. My whole life is black and white at that point. I'm just wondering about every decision that brought me to this point. Oh my goodness.
I have played a few games where you have tilted off the face of the earth, and I'm well aware.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I'm just trying to talk you down now at the moment. It was 3 HP, by the way. I got an update on that.
3?
Yeah, Impact saying easy, top die, 3 HP, no problem.
3 HP. Oh. Okay, well I don't think we're going to see a bigger tragedy this game or in the remaining game today either, other than a 3 HP just barely missing out there for Ruin. But how well can he recover now? You can see he's working on the Seeker's armband in his inventory. Really love this item for any AP champion going into an AD matchup. Gives you such incredible gold efficiency after it is stacked up. Impact going in for the 1v1, but it will not remain that way for long. Over the wall, baby, alley-oop! And Brox has got 2.
He already tilted out of his chair onto the floor, and Broxah just kicking him while he's down. Flowers at this point.
Picked up the chair and hit him with it. That
Honestly,
is not a good situation.
Since we're kind of talking about, your regular games, this is the most viable strategy. When you are in like a solo queue game or something like that, you see a play like that topside, that is going to cause some discomfort, some tilt, immediately go repeat gank that player, because that is going to get you the mental edge. And Broxah with the Graves ultimate over the top of the wall finds another kill. That is 2 for the Graves now. He's going to have a very massive lead over Wiggily. Should be able to get his Warrior no problem. Next back, yep, there he goes. He gets the full upgrade. Warrior and Boots for Graves with a level lead.
It's frightening. Like, what are you even going to do as the Sett in this situation? You walk up to him,
okay,
got your little bomby Cinder. That's not going to do it.
Here's what you do.
Not when Jensen's joining him too.
Here's what you do. You got to go down bottom side, and you say, hit the binding. So then, wait a second. Okay. It's a cleanse Tahm Kench. Ah, cripes. What do we even bind? You bind the Tahm Kench, he cleanses. You bind the Ashe, he gets devoured. Never mind.
All right, we ain't going bottom anymore.
Abort the plan. Yep. Okay. Well, no flash on impact for a little bit longer. Maybe you could try and untilt your top laner. I would highly recommend an increase in the prevalence of lane ganks, but it looks like it's going to be a Rift Herald starter up here for Team Liquid. Everybody heading up. You see even the bottom lane are making their way up towards this Rift Herald, so they're completely ready to fight their way out of it as well. Ashe Arrow for tactical.
Shelly almost dead. Auto attack with the smite from Broxah, and TL are able to control this one. Also worth noting that Smoothie used Summoner Spellbook to switch over to teleport and TP'd into the mid lane with the Morgana, so he will not have that available here anytime soon. And CLG are not able to contest that one. You can see there's your Cinderhulk finally completed on the Sett, so he'll at least have a little bit more capability to contest the Graves if they find themselves in the same lane for a gank or counter gank, but it's still not an encounter he wants to find himself in.
Definitely true. That's why I kind of recommend lane ganks. And I wish I could draw on the screen right now, but just walking through lane so you know you don't go over any of this vision. Team Liquid have a decent amount of it. And then when cases like this, where Impact goes for the slice and dice all-in trade on Ruin, if you're waiting in the brush, you get the stun on the minions. Your Rumble gets an easy flamethrower plus ult combination, and you can try and untilt the tilted.
Bottom side, Drake is alive for the second time. Broxah still has that Rift Herald ready to summon. CoreJJ forced to flash out, recognizing that he had to just go ahead and get all the way out of town. Just cleansing a CC wasn't going to do it. They were all too close. So a good forcing of the summoner spell there from CLG. But will it lead to anything? Control ward placed down. TL don't want to immediately walk over and clear that one. They don't know if their opponents are still sticking around or not. We, of course, can see that Pobelter's back in the mid lane, and Wiggly's gone back to farm more stuff in that bottom side jungle. Brox is still around here. Will he go for this Drake?
Mid laner's recalling right now.
Yeah, you back away from that one. Yeah. He's got empowered recall anyway. It's easy to get back and then.
That is one of the first rules of jungling. If your mid laner recalls and the enemy mid laner has full mana sitting right there with an ultimate, do not.
You don't do the dragon. Oh, that's definitely a bad situation. I've been there a couple times, man, when I'm just clowning around, not paying attention to stuff. And it's usually in games where Raz is my mid laner, because he always runs off and does random stuff. And all of a sudden, you're stuck in a dragon pit alone. 3 enemy guys show up and just beat the crap out of you. And you're like, Raz, where are you at? And he was chasing a Zoe balloon or something.
I like it. The casual Raz call-out flame in the CLG.
He's let me die at Scuttle Crab at level 3 so many times. I got to give him a little bit of payback somewhere. But Team Liquid is on to the Drake here. They're looking to give themselves a 2-0 edge on that one as Broxah maintains control of the pit. And it looks like CLG is not interested in contesting this one here at all. Second Drake secured, and it's Mountain Soul this time around.
Okay, Mountain Soul pretty much all-purpose, pretty easy to use there for the shield. Team Liquid pretty happy to have that. Will buff up a lot of their offensive building players too, regardless, and give them a little bit more sustain, or excuse me, effective HP for the fights. Rift Herald does get off, and you get most of the cash in. Last play is going to be way too tanky for them to burn down, though. You don't really have to worry too much about first turret bonus. Team Liquid with a very calm 2,000 gold lead now off of those 2 kind of counter kills that Broxah got, and the extra turret plate.
And worth pointing out, too, because you were contemplating Renekton's item build in Champion Select about will he have to go for magic resistance? You don't think he could probably go just for the early Blade of the Ruined King into this matchup. And Impact kind of walked the line between both roads here. He didn't go for the full squishy Blade of the Ruined King, but he's not opting into a pure defensive option with magic resistance either. Instead, goes for the bonus health pool on the Black Cleaver, making sure that he's able to still put forth a lot of damage while not being able to get bursted down instantly himself.
Yeah, this is kind of the older standard for Renekton. It does mean that without the Blade of the Ruined King, the thing that people are most worried about with the new Renekton, with all the itemization, with Bork is the fully charged up Rage triple strike W that gets triple procs on the Blade of the Ruined King passive that was mega buffed with the Bruiser item buffs. So that surprise factor of like Renekton towards mid stage of the game flashing on a carry and just one-shotting them won't be quite as scary because Blade of Black Cleaver just kind of shreds a little armor and doesn't give you that crazy burst damage. It is better used on, fighting a little bit more front to back style.
All right, CLG, let's see you guys do some. Let's get cooking. Let's see some sort of action coming out here from the Counter Logic Gaming boys. But so far, it's all Team Liquid, man. CoreJJ takes the blast cone over the wall. Broxah is still just hanging around. Wiggily is 0-1-1 here on the set, so he has been involved in the one kill that they got. But past that, CLG not putting much here on the board. No turrets have yet fallen. The plates are down, and CLG showing up bottom lane. Here we go. Wiggily starting it off with a nice ulti onto CoreJJ, and that should be all she wrote there for the Catfish. But here comes Impact looking for some of the damage. First kill of the fight is onto CoreJJ, but now Team Liquid is turning it back around with a kill onto the enemy mid laner. Pobelter gone. Ace in the hole comes through, but it will not even come close to killing Broxah off. Team Liquid, although it looks bad at the very start of the fight for them, they're patient. CoreJJ buys time with the stopwatch, and although he can't save himself, it guarantees the follow-up kill onto the CLG mid laner to make this a Team Liquid favorite engagement yet again.
And TL gonna be able to push in the waves after the fact as well. That mid tower, okay, teleport used, make sure they don't lose mid tower this early. Jensen with blue buff. LeBlanc could have stayed around very easily to finish it off if Stixxay didn't opt to do this. So CLG, they don't lose that tremendous amount off of it. I guess Impact still gets the bottom one though. Opens up that split push as well as getting that solo first turret bonus.
Yeah, and you can see the total gold there. Jump up, Impact is right behind Tactical, and then boom, 400 gold, jumping right out to the front of the race. And CLG are over onto the Rift Herald here. They want to grab second Shelly. It was Team Liquid who got the first one. CLG with 4 players in this topside river. TL trying to rotate the boys over, but the Caitlyn cupcakes are in the way, and nobody from TL will be able to move over there in time. Nice objective secure from CLG.
All right, can they go about any sort of defense here, though? Because bottom's already down, and the rotation from Impact is full. He's taken away the jungle camps. They're even laying behind vision. This is bottom and mid towers taken 40 seconds before the dragon spawn. So all the defenses of CLG leading up to the dragons have already been taken away. Team Liquid can easily just do their 4-1 set pressure and set up for this dragon. You can see their control wards all around it. If you toggle the vision right now for CLG's side, they have nowhere to try and make an inroad. Herald is used to try and get some artificial vision mid if you can push the minion wave out and make a big dent in this turret, then maybe you could try and get your minion vision wave up further, but
that's hard to say. Minion vision. That's a little bit of a tongue twister.
You
wouldn't think it is, but there's some tongue twisting going on in there. Impact's diving in, but Wiggly's turning it back around. Nice ulti coming out from the Rumble to stop TL from going in any further. Wiggily and Impact both missing about 2/3 of their HP after that one. CoreJJ also hurting here a little bit. Nice damage onto Jensen. Well done.
Slipped right onto that trap. Stixxay's got him, and CLG just like that. Jensen with the blunder will give them the dragon. That is very necessary for a comeback for Counter Logic Gaming. If Team Liquid had gotten third dragon at 18 minutes, they'd be setting up for a very early Mountain Soul for themselves, but Jensen goes for another little bit of poke over the wall, snaps right back onto a well-placed trap from Stixxay. And he is definitely showing up. We talked about in Champ Select, kind of the classic for him, iconic champion you associate with Stixxay, trying to 1v9 in the late stages of the game. He is set up with a 1-0-1 now, Infinity Edge plus your extra BF sword completed already. So he's definitely hitting pretty hard here with the snipes.
You can never underestimate how powerful Caitlyn is in those situations where you know someone has to return to a spot. Whether it's a Zhonya's, whether it's a Guardian Angel, something like what you just saw there with LeBlanc. Once Yone comes out, here's your solo queue hint. Once Yone comes out, Twitch chat, if you guys want to farm some free LP, every time you see him locked in, pick Caitlyn. Put a trap on his E. They're going to try to do some anime montage crap to you. They're immediately going to come back, take a bite out of a cupcake, free kill, 300 gold in your pocket. You learned it here. You heard it here first.
Have you
That's
seen,
all there is to it.
It always reminds me of the Indiana Jones clip where he's fighting a guy that has...
With the sword?
Yeah, with the sword. He's doing all these sword tricks. And then like does the whole dance, and then Indiana just pulls out his gun and shoots him, and he's like, oh,
yeah,
outplayed.
Turns out sword versus gun is not really a chance for to make the 1v1 happen too well. The guy with the gun's pretty overpowered in that situation.
That
but
is a very
CLG
old movie clip that I just referenced. But you know what? Broxah's going to face check Wiggily.
Oldie but a goodie.
Oh, smoke
Oldie but a
backwards. Where's everybody going? I think he
Team Liquid's got a gun too, man. They got a shotgun against a sniper rifle here, but Broxah's not going to get himself anywhere close to these CLG players just yet.
He got jump scared there.
Yeah,
Put in the
like,
control
no,
warning. He's like, oh my goodness.
Nope. Getting out. Getting out. All right, Team Liquid still have a 2,500 gold lead here over their opponents. It is 3 minutes until the Drake spawns. Baron is live now since we've just crested the 20-minute mark. Jensen 0-2 here on the LeBlanc, so not the greatest early performance out of him, but plenty of good stuff going on here in the top side for TL.
Yeah, and CLG keep trying to pull off some sort of like counter gank on him up here. Wiggily knows there's a controller, but he goes all in.
Oh, Pobelter taken out by Jensen. Wiggily trying to get the counter kill here, and he will manage to do it. I love the emoji. Both mid laners dead. Oh, that was good.
So, you know, as funny as emojis are, that was 4 summoner spells used for CLG to get the 1-for-1 trade. Now, when you're evaluating your gains off that, though, an assisted kill is 50% more money for your team. It's less money concentrated onto Pobelter because Wiggily was the one who got it. But technically, you do get more money for your team. In the end, though, look at this. 4 summoners. Ignite used. Pobelter also flashes as he ults there. And then Wiggily also flashes in and smites to finish off Jensen. So they do get him in the end. But, yeah, look at that.
I gotta get that emote. I gotta find out which one that is and get that, because that one's very good. I like that.
I think the game over one might be my favorite.
Game over feels like, I particularly think that one's good for using it as the when enemy nexus explodes, because you're just pointing out the obvious and rubbing salt into the wound. Feels really good. I became a fan of it when Solo had his 1v9 Renekton game and he kept spamming it. That's true. That's true. So some of those big moments can really inspire you to make more out of an emote than you otherwise would. They can put that fire in your belly. As Team Liquid going to need some fire here to keep this game a-rolling. Their gold lead has stagnated here a bit around the 2,500 mark. CLG happy to see that, as that next Drake will be spawning here in under 1 minute. It's 4-5 in kills. Team Liquid still with the 2-0 lead in the turret, still also having one more Drake than their opponents, as Jensen tries to put another turret away here. Auto attack after auto attack into this top lane tier 1. Impact hanging out, seeing if maybe Ruin's going to face check. Oh, and he will apply face to brush, and Impact just says, nope, I'm going after the minions.
Yeah, good little shield there. Barely gets through it. Nice kind of even trade. And we're setting up for the critical dragon here. Yes, it doesn't give you soul, but it gives so much pressure over if Team Liquid could get it. That's the kind of mounting third dragon. And it looks like with Jensen recalling right now, CLG have the option of burning it down. Jensen's distortion out of base. He's running straight there. And 5 seconds. If they don't immediately start it and burn it down, Jensen can get here in time. There's going to be a few seconds desyncing him, though.
All flashes are up on the side of Team Liquid. They are not available for Wiggily and Pobelter on the side of CLG. Over the wall goes Broxah, but it is secured by Wiggily. Well done there, and now they're controlling the Graves here as well. Equalizer comes down, but it's Impact in the middle of everybody, just tearing this entire fight apart. Pobelter is gone, Wiggily is gone, Smoothie is gone. Who the hell is still even around from CLG? Team Liquid will slam that fight. They lose the Drake, but they do not care. It is Baron on the minion.
Exactly. In third Dragon fight, you always focus on the fight first. And Team Liquid get the kills because the fight, if you win that, that means you get Baron guaranteed. And Impact with the Death Dance had been completed on his Renekton. You have your full bruiser kit ready to go. Ooh, he's toast.
See you later, buddy.
He's Ignite.
It's not enough. Oh, he gives them the farewell with the Pingu. Well done by Jensen there. 3-3-3 now on the LeBlanc. Has had a solid mid-game to make up for the shakier early game. And all of Team Liquid's feeling good after this one.
All right, take another look. So Impact fully charged a Rage Bar on the Renekton with a flank. You know, Ashe Arrow is dodged, and they had Black Shield. When Broxah goes in, he gets dunked back, but Jensen flashes in for a pretty good set of AoE damage on the back line and draws the Ignite, so then Impact can go in as well, with Tactical just fully firing auto attacks here from the Ashe, unharassed on the top side. It was kind of a nice three-pronged attack from Team Liquid with the 3 different carries drawing out cooldowns from Team Liquid.
7,000 gold lead. They must have heard me talking smack about it stagnating or something, because all of a sudden
it's fermenting, okay?
It's just looking like there is no way for CLG to do anything against him here. Look at the comparison across all 4 of the non-support roles. Every Team Liquid player out-damaged their counterpart in that last fight. Stixxay finding a little bit of damage down onto Jensen, who just randomly dies. That wasn't the best of plays, but hey, CLG will take it. And Team Liquid are now continuing to try to push in this 4 versus 5 situation. They will manage to take down that mid lane tier 2, and now CoreJJ shows up in the bottom lane there with the Abyssal Voyage just to scare CLG away enough for them to grab this tier 2 turret. Pobelter trying to pick up the top side tier 1 just as some sort of a consolation prize.
Yeah, I mean, CLG's game plan right now is super long. They're saying farm for late. We have put a stop to any sort of early soul, so you're trying to minimize the damage and get some gold back in trade. This is your best hope at the moment. You're trying to trade out little pieces. It was another good counter kill. Stixxay is able to fend off Jensen, who kind of gets himself lost there in the jungle, and with Rumble roaming up, Ruin's able to burn him down. That extra burn AoE staying on him quite nicely, allowing them to kill him even through the passive. So CLG trying to just minimize their losses at the moment because they do have kind of late game Stixxay, Caitlyn with a Black Shield to try and fight around. Rumble's pretty good at creating some area later, even though the damage really does fall off. A lot of Rumble is base damage. That's why you always see him building for magic penetration and burn instead of like just straight AP, because the ratios aren't as great as the penetrations and the burn effects are going to be, but is going to still allow them a decent chance of controlling the AoE. That said, though, it's a long-term plan, like I said, and you're going to have to extend it a decent way here, defending against Team Liquid, who still have Baron buff for another 10 seconds.
Well, those 10 seconds aren't going to amount to a whole lot here. I don't see TL really being able to push into the base or anything with it. Impact is trying to get a bit of damage down onto this remaining tier 2 turret here in the top lane. Impact starting it off. Broxah is following it up, but Wiggily shows up in time to make sure that TL do not find a kill onto Ruin. Broxah using the ulti there to get himself away from Wiggily, provide a little bit of extra distance, and TL will take down that last remaining tier 2. This means that if the game goes to the next Baron, TL can take that one, and then they will have to go straight for those inhibitor turrets and break open the base. There's nothing left to take outside of the CLG base for Team Liquid.
Stixxay still got his sights on Jensen. He's been able to punish him a decent amount in this game. And I always do like just firing off Caitlyn ultimates onto the enemy mage, because they generally will have a way more difficult time sustaining back up. And Jensen, this time around, not going to be a big deal because he's just going to recall. Team Liquid have full control over the map at the moment. Look how far up their vision is. That's the problem for CLG is when you're playing defensively like this, you have to give up so many resources. As you said, the Dragon is just going to be forfeit over to Team Liquid, but because CLG already got 2 of those Mountain Drakes, they're not too scared. It buys them another 5 minutes, and they're happy to pay that small price for the extra time farming.
Right. CLG will need to contest the one after this, but this one is, well, just the cost of doing business for Counter Logic Gaming. Pobelter at level 15, Ruin the same. Once these 2 solo laners for CLG can hit those critical level 16 points and get those level ups on their ultimates, it will be very important, particularly for Syndra, since she gets the bonuses on her skills once they are max level. It does add extra range to the ulti to make it so she's more capable of getting the burst onto the right targets here in the team fights. And speaking of those targets, man, the 80 carries on both of these squads at 75% crit chance with 3 big completed items. Also a stopwatch there in Tactical's inventory, so it has the ability to immune through some of that burst from a Syndra ulti or something similar. But honestly, the story of the game for me, Kobe, has been Impact. Look at this big old lizard. Death Dance, Sterix Gauge, Black Cleaver, upgraded boots. The man is just going to wreck whoever he dives onto in these fights, and CLG has to find some way to play around it, but it is so difficult because of how far ahead he is.
Exactly. His flash is big. Like, that cooldown is going to mean the difference between them actually closing the distance and getting to one of the valuable targets. If he gets an empowered W off on Stixxay or Pobelter or something, but CLG's game plan, you look at their comp, they're set up, they're trying to play at range at all costs in these fights. Pobelter and Stixxay spread up at the backside of the team fight. Impact actually gets 3v1. Slides right out.
A little bit of trouble here, but yeah, they're not worried about that at all. Team Liquid saying, hey, drew 3 down to the bottom side. Let's see what we can do up in this top half of the map here as they're setting down more vision. You were talking about the Team Liquid vision lines and how far they were extended. You can see right here as we toggle the vision off for CLG and just see what Team Liquid's got. So much of this jungle is lit up as Impact is in the 1v3. He's able to take Smoothie down to half HP, but the Zhonya's will buy the Morgana enough time to make sure they get that kill and get it cleanly. However, the cost may be too much to bear. Yes, you shut down the enemy top laner. Yes, you're going to relieve that pressure in the bottom lane, but now Jensen's getting a return kill. Smoothie didn't have the Zhonyas to drop the aggro there because he had to use it in the previous fight, and Team Liquid grabbed the second Baron.
And Jensen even got a counter kill. Here we go. Tahm Kench coming in. Stixxay has to flash.
Oh, they tried to go for the follow-up there, but Stixxay tries to get himself away, and Broxah with the flash follow-up. Tactical gets the kill, and Team Liquid taking out the enemy marksman means now they've got the real chance to keep this push alive.
Yeah, honestly, this is going to be a deep push here for Team Liquid. Baron number 2 with the Caitlyn down. That is the team for CLG. Pobelter going to try and pull some heroics here. Maybe he finds a full stun combo onto CoreJJ or Tactical or something. Try and burst somebody down. But apart from that, CLG going to have a big difficulty in keeping their base alive.
Here comes Impact. He is ready to go, man. He may have died in the 1v3 last time, but my man does not stand alone any longer. Tactical gets the ulti brought down on top of him. CoreJJ, the noble sacrifice, saves his 80 carry at the cost of his own life. Impact going in for the damage on to Pobelter. Jensen following it up, but they won't be able to find it here just yet. Pobelter barely being kept alive there. The spell shield from Banshee's Veil critical in making sure he's able to walk away. But now Wiggly's taken low here on the front line. Impact still so tanky. Damage flying out from Stixxay there with the headshots, keeping him slowed down. Tactical eats a lot of damage with a flash on the very back end to get himself off of death's door. And Team Liquid is in full retreat. Jensen needs to make sure he blocks that ace in the hole. Well done there. I've seen enough of those messed up in solo queue that I was a little bit worried. But CLG will continue chasing after their TL opponents. Nice slows coming out from Tactical's volleys. Jensen also cautiously hanging around the periphery of this, not in full retreat, but looking for the opportunity to turn things right back around. CLG regrouping in the river to deal with Team Liquid. Tactical trying to get away now. The back coming out nicely, gets out, but Ruin goes on a rampage, getting the kill onto Jensen. Ruin now going to be traded away as Wiggily dies next, or does he? Tactical returns to the fight now with the teleport, nearly going to be killed off here a second time. Pobelter falls, Broxah is taking the kill, Tactical walks away. That's got to be single-digit HP as well. Team Liquid is just getting away with it time and again here in this game. Impact using the stasis to survive. Unfortunately, stasis is during his shield from the Stair Axe, but we'll still make it a 1-for-1 here with Wiggily.
They clean up
What is this fight?
a few of the stragglers, Flowers. That was a whack-a-mole fight. Everybody just popping out of nowhere, scramble. Every person for themselves. Teleport comes in as well to try and finish it. That was a moment where CLG are trying to retake some semblance of control. But look at this. It's 10 seconds on the next dragon now. Wiggily just died, standing next to Impact. He thought that, you know, he could kind of bait him in and keep him there a little bit longer and use his shield with the Haymaker, but Impact just kills him right through it, and that is going to mean Team Liquid will pick up the Mountain Soul. There's already an open road into the CLG base, and TL can head straight for it.
Easy soul for TL. Baron going to be alive in about 3 minutes. We'll see if they even want to wait on that. You can see them marching up towards the top half of the map right now. Still no deaths on either Broxah or Tactical. 1-0-5 on your AD carry, 3-0-6 on the jungler here. Another item completed. It's Guardian Angel for Impact, meaning once he dives into the back line, any sort of care he had before is now evaporated, my friend. His one mission is to just kill whoever he can find on this CLG team.
Wiggily giving that other kill over to Impact at the bottom where you know, he's reviving, he's trapped there. You're just like, trying to bait him with a Haymaker into something. All right, here. Let's take a look at how Team Liquid can finish this one off. Jensen sneaking around looking for any wary travelers, but it's just going to be the 4-1. Super Minions headed straight up the mid lane, so Team Liquid you know, have this path laid out for them. As you said, with the Guardian Angel here for Impact, he's ready to go very deep. No flash for him. Oh, Jensen. Stixxay's on him again.
Right, you all right there, brother? All right, Jensen gets away. He loses his passive and about 3/4 of his health. But again, in order to make these things happen, CLG is sending multiple players to the bottom lane, which means they are not equipped to keep their base protected. It is 2 lanes worth of super minions spawning now that will be flooding into the CLG base, and Team Liquid will take that as a win and back themselves back out here. Wiggily running away. Tactical still in hot pursuit here. Fires off the Hawk shot to see Stixxay taking their own red. As Team Liquid continue marching forward here, they'll take away the chicken camp. Smoothie shows back up into the fight. And Team Liquid, do they want to go for any more here? Ruin coming around from the side. Equalizer drop down onto Tactical, who will be gobbled up by CoreJJ, but does lose half of his HP.
A little grooming going on. Cleans all the Rumble Ultimate right off him. No more burn damage. Jensen heading up for a possible flank, but Wiggily in.
Tactical using the Scuttle Crab to lifesteal up and get his health pulled back. Impact has used the ulti, but he can't get anywhere near the fight here just yet. CLG would be happy to let this alligator ulti disappear before making any more moves. CoreJJ goes on an abyssal voyage down to the bottom lane to clear away some of these minions. He didn't take anybody else with him, so he just sort of shows up and licks a couple minions and walks away, as Ruin loses most of his health and has to use his Zonias to survive the damage from Jensen.
And that should be the Baron for Team Liquid. CoreJJ walking his way over to the Blast Cone.
CoreJJ tries to get out, and he makes it over the wall, but more damage comes through from Stixxay. CoreJJ using the Q to buy himself some extra time. Oh, Jensen just waiting around there for Stixxay to face check. Picks himself up a free kill onto the CLG AD carry, and that is the most important person on this squad to remove from Summoner's Rift.
Yeah,
Team Liquid will seize their opportunity now.
Jensen finally got his revenge there. Now they get the Baron buff on top of it, and Team Liquid just playing with him. Oh, he gets binded, though!
Oh, Jensen could be in some trouble, but no, he is not. CoreJJ on the Tahm Kench. He is off the bench, and he is ready to rock. Wiggily in some danger. The black shield to keep him alive and safe from the CC, but Broxah is coming in from the top side. He will not try to dive in alone, doesn't want to go for some 1v4 shenanigans, as Team Liquid will batter down this last remaining inhibitor turret. They should make quick work of that one. Destroyed it is. The Nexus turrets will be their next target. CLG has to find some sort of a defense here in the 4v5. Stixxay not going to be alive here just yet. Neither is anybody else on counter. Logic Gaming. Ruin tries to walk it out. Stixxay respawns for some auto attacks, but he's stuck in the fountain. Impact dives onto the stairs and does not even care, and Team Liquid